Hi everyone, this is Jennifer Hoffman of enlighteninglife.com, and for the newsletter this week we're doing a video. And the topic of this week's video is, do you have approval anxiety? Now, for a long time I've been talking about love, and I have a program called Raise Your Love Vibes, and I've talked about seeking love and getting love and creating true love and true love versus false love. And I've always said that often we get confused because our search for love is really a search for approval. We don't want people to love us as much as we want them to like us. And you like things that you approve of, so we want to know that people approve of us, they accept us, they acknowledge us, they find us okay and perfectly acceptable. And that will satisfy our approval needs. And then we can worry about the love part of it. The problem is that we go into relationships seeking approval rather than putting ourselves forward as the prize and not seeking approval because we already approve of ourselves, and realizing that if someone doesn't approve of us, then they're the wrong person for us and we're the wrong person for them. Now, you might think, yeah, but I don't understand how that works. Well, let me explain. Have you in your life had somebody who just didn't really care about you? They weren't nice to you. No matter what you did, it wasn't good enough for them. And maybe this goes back to your childhood, and this was a parent or a very critical mother or a critical father. And maybe during your childhood, as growing up and a teenager, you had people around you who just thought you were weird and different, and you just couldn't connect. So that leaves you with this approval vacuum. You have a big hole in your life where you say, I'm acceptable, and look, all these people in my life tell me I'm acceptable, so I know that I'm acceptable. Well, what happens then is you go into adulthood and you don't have the approval needs met. So when you go look for relationships, what's more important to you? To be loved? Well, you don't even know what that means. And that's actually the second step. The first step is, I've got to find somebody who actually likes me, who thinks I'm okay, who thinks I'm great, who approves of me. And then when we don't get these needs met, we get really anxious. Well, nobody approves of me, so there's something wrong with me. I'm going to be alone. I'm going to be alone forever. So we get all anxious about it, and that's what I call approval anxiety. And the way approval anxiety permeates through your whole life is you go into every single situation seeking approval rather than presenting yourself as a whole, complete, congruent being, as the prize. And you ask people to like you, and then you hope that they do. And if they don't, then you think you've done something wrong or there's something wrong with you. So we need to reverse that situation so that you get out of approval anxiety. You stop feeling like there's something wrong with you because people don't like you, when they can't approve of you if you don't meet some kind of energetic requirement for them. So for example, you know me long enough, you know that I don't like camping. So I'm not interested in going camping. So if somebody said, well, I think you'd be a great person if you wanted to go camping every weekend, and if you don't, then I don't approve of you. Well, I have two choices here. I can say, gee, I love to go camping. I'd be happy to go camping with you every weekend, when I really don't. And then I would go camping and I'd be miserable. I'd have a terrible time. And the whole time I'd be thinking, why am I doing this? What's wrong with me that I said I'd do something that I absolutely hate? Or the other option is, because I already approve of myself and I'm not going camping, is, thank you, but we're not fit for each other, and this isn't suitable for me because I don't go camping. And if that's what it takes for me to be acceptable to you and for you to approve of me, then you're the wrong person for me and I'm the wrong person for you. But we don't do that, do we? We negotiate our non-negotiables. We get rid of our priorities. We lower our boundaries, thinking that if this person approves of me, then I will get the love that I want for them. So that's why we get into relationships that are unfulfilling, unsatisfying, that are short-term, that don't meet our needs, that don't make us happy, because we haven't gone in there saying, I want the love and I want this to work this way, and I'm going to ignore the approval because I don't care if you approve of me. I want love. I have all of my love lists. I have everything that I want in a relationship, and I'm going to attract people then who meet those requirements. And if not, then that's not the right person for me. But when we go into a relationship with approval anxiety, the more we get rejected, which is what we think when people don't approve of us, is, oh, they're rejecting me. And in a way they are, but what they're saying is that there's nothing for me to approve because we don't share the same values, we don't have the same interests, we don't have the same energy, so I can't approve of you. Again, it would be like me trying to have a relationship with someone who truly loved camping and who wanted to go camping every weekend. There would be absolutely no way that relationship would work because I'm not going camping, and I certainly wouldn't ask them to not go. But on the other hand, I'm not staying home all the time while they go off and go camping. So that it just wouldn't work. So the more we feel we get rejected or we find people who don't approve of us, the more our approval anxiety grows. So then what do? We go looking for anyone who will approve of us. We go looking, and what's that song, looking for love in all the wrong places. We go looking everywhere for approval, when what we really need to do is take a big step back and realize that when we seek approval from people who aren't going to approve of us because there's no energetic match, we're setting ourselves up for disaster. And there's another aspect to this, is if you don't have your approval needs met, if you are looking for these things, you're looking for love, you're looking for approval and validation from people, then you're setting yourself up for failure in your love life. And in a way, you're self-sabotaging because you already don't feel that anybody approves of you, so you don't think you're lovable. So you go into relationships that are completely inappropriate, that are totally wrong for you, that you're not going to get what you want from them at all. But in a way, it's almost satisfying because you already don't believe that that kind of relationship is going to work for you anyway. So you seek approval, you seek love, you seek validation, but you already don't think you're going to get it. So you kind of go after it from people, with people who aren't going to give it to you. They're completely inappropriate partners. So what do? Well, first of all, you have to realize that you have approval anxiety, and you know that when you think, oh, nobody loves me, I'm different, nobody connects with me, nobody cares about me. And also if you've had like a critical parent or a very judgmental person in your life, or someone in your life who just wasn't connected to you in that way, then you're going to be seeking approval. You need to learn self-approval. That's part of your self-esteem work. And esteem is a measure of value. Think of the word estimate comes from esteem. And if you've taken my self-esteem course, we work a lot on creating that value because you love what you value. So you need to go searching for love based on your value and what's valuable to you. And if you can deal with the approval anxiety, which if you listen to this video, and I encourage you to watch it a couple times, look where you don't feel valuable. Who told you, hey, you're great, you're fantastic, I just think you're a wonderful person? If nobody said those to you, then you need those things. So you're going to have to learn to say them to yourself. And that might sound silly, but you do. You have to build your own value. You have to build your own approval. And then you have to realize the difference between seeking approval and seeking love, because they are two different kinds of relationships. I have lots of friends. I have lots of people who approve of me, but while I love them as friends, I don't love them as romantic partners because, for whatever reason, but they're two different kinds of relationships. And one of the pitfalls of having approval anxiety is you kind of lump everybody into the same basket rather than breaking out the people that you approve, the people you want approval from, people who are your friends, and then people who are acquaintances, and then people who are really great friends or love partners or you have a romantic interest in. So don't lump all your relationships into the, I want all these people to approve of me, because some people will and some people won't. That's like saying, I want everyone to love me in the same way. And that's not going to happen. Some people will really like you a lot. Some people will truly love you. And other people, if they see you once every 6 months or once a year, that's fine with them. And that doesn't mean that you're not valuable and they don't approve of you. Because the problem with approval anxiety is because as that amount of anxiety gets bigger, you think, well, it's never going to happen. I'm never going to be approved of. I'm never going to have love. So I've got to go after more people. I've got to get more of this. I've got to try everybody to see if I can find even one person to do this. And then we get on this whole cycle of rejection because we go after the wrong person and then they reject us, and then we look for somebody else and they reject us, and then that cycle gets bigger and bigger, and we just put ourselves in this very deep hole of depression and self-loathing and self-criticism and self-judgment, when we really need to realize that, first of all, we need to approve of ourselves because people can't give to us what we can't give to ourselves. And secondly, to separate out your approval needs from what you really want in love, and recognize that you have approval needs that need to be met, so you need to work on that. And then you can go into a love relationship that is a true love relationship, because you're not seeking approval. You already have the approval. And how do you get that? And you heard it from the 5 Keys to Love webinar. You are the prize. You are the valuable one. You are the one that somebody will look at and say, wow, you're such an amazing person. I can't wait to get to know you more. I really want to be part of your life, and I want you part of mine. And if you can't imagine anyone saying that to you, they will, and they can, and that's possible for you. But only when you get out of your approval anxiety and stop getting people to trying to get people to like you and to approve of you and to value you. When you need to do that for yourself and go into the relationships whole, healed, and complete, so that you present yourself as, hey, I'm the prize. It doesn't mean that relationships can't augment your life in some way, but you can't go into relationships trying to fill this deep hole of approval, because no relationship can do that and no person can do that for you. So the more that you approve of yourself, and that just means that, hey, I'm okay because you are. I'm perfect just as I am because you can't be anything else. The more you approve of yourself, the easier it is to get out of that approval cycle and get out of the approval anxiety and find someone who will truly love you for the person that you are. And because your approval is already there and your approval basket is completely full, they will approve of you as well. And they'll go the next step. They'll actually really and truly love you, and you'll have the love relationship that you want. It's Jennifer Hoffman of enlighteninglife.com. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video on approval anxiety, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.